All right, what's up, everybody? We're live on Facebook.
That was
KSAT
magic.
12's Facebook page.
We heard you, but we didn't see you.
Yes, that was my voice talking to all of our Facebook friends and followers. We are inside the KSAT studio right now, kind of doing a sports debrief a little bit.
See the KSAT studio?
Yeah, there is a lot going on in the world of sports, and
yeah.
not just, of course, our Spurs playing much better, doing well. And but we got a lot of other NBA stuff to discuss here, and we're going to talk some Commanders, including possibly Johnny Manziel returning. We may actually learn this week something about that, and also get into maybe some Cowboys talk too. So, David, where do you want to start here, man?
Let's start with Spurs.
Okay,
Let's go
we're
ahead
going to start with Spurs, and again, I'm going to be monitoring your all's questions, comments here. So, go ahead, feel free to ask us any questions that you may have. And yeah, we'll try and get to those. But again, we are going to be talking about a bunch of different things here. Thank you very much for being with us on our Facebook Live right here, KSAT 12's Facebook page. David, Spurs.
So as we start this show today on Tuesday, the Spurs are going to play the Dallas Mavericks tonight at 7 o'clock, early start.
Right.
They will be without Rudy Gay again. They were without Rudy when they beat the Milwaukee Bucks. So apparently he's a little under the weather. Or
yes.
Illness is the official word that they use.
Yeah, Pop was asked about that prior to the Milwaukee game, and he basically just said that Rudy was sick. And apparently Quincy Pondexter did one of these Instagram lives, and he also said that Rudy was just not feeling good. A lot of people, I even saw on Twitter, someone said, well, is Rudy upset about being on the bench? No, I don't think he's upset about being on the bench or playing with the second unit. I don't think that's at all. I think he actually does have some sort of sickness, and I guess that's all we're going to get from the Spurs.
No.
That may be a good thing.
The way they're playing right now, I don't know why he would, number one, care if he's coming off the bench or not. He knows that's the way the Spurs operate. And number two, why would you want to, upset the apple cart?
Right.
So you got things rolling. You're doing good. You have a hard time moving up in the standings, although today they're 7th. We don't know what they'll be tomorrow after they play the Mavs tonight. And if they can't beat the Mavs without Rudy Gay, then woo.
And I don't even think Dallas is going to have Luka Doncic playing tonight. So yeah, you're right.
What did DeMar DeRozan tell us the other night after the game?
Ooh, he said a lot
about the defense, but he said we got to take this defense on the road.
Right,
they played great defense.
Yeah.
Now Giannis had 27.
Right.
But the way they collapsed on him, he had to work for those 27. Those were hard fought 27.
Oh, definitely. We saw a physical 27.
Yeah.
The Spurs made it very difficult on Giannis, and I mean, going back to what you were saying about DeMar, I mean, DeMar also said they can beat anybody in this league, which we have seen during this recent winning streak. Yeah. Oklahoma City, Denver. I mean, they beat Milwaukee here. That was a big win. Detroit, who's been playing really well. Yeah, so. And I mean, going back to when they played Toronto here, they were engaged in that game. They beat the Raptors here.
Engaged is a good word.
Yeah, they were fully engaged. I think that's kind of the word with the Spurs when you are fully engaged in a game.
There's engaged, and then there's Pop's word for the defense, activity.
There you go.
You want activity on defense. So the Spurs are playing the Mavericks, and then they come home, and they've got those weird home back-to-backs on Friday and Saturday, and Golden State on Monday.
Yes.
So that's a tough little stretch right there. But they got a couple of days off.
Yeah. So it's Portland on Saturday, right? I think the Knicks is the game Friday night.
Portland on Saturday. Yeah. And then the Golden State Warriors on Monday. And don't be surprised if maybe one guy gets a little bit of rest on Friday night since they got the back-to-backs. I don't know. Yeah. They don't rest him as much as they were doing with the big three. You notice that?
No, they have not. No. We were talking about that a little bit earlier in the newsroom. How LaMarcus Aldridge really has not rested very much. I know DeMar. Yeah, DeMar had a little bit of that. I guess he had like the knee soreness during the All-Star break. They rested him during that time, but for the most part, they have not rested guys.
Not like they used to do Tim, Tony, and Manu.
No,
I mean, you could always count on one of those, if not two of them, sitting out on the second of a back-to-back, or maybe even the first of a back-to-back. But I guess because there's such a stretch in between games, and oh, by the way, LaMarcus has been playing his rear end off, and he's averaged, in this win streak, he's averaged 27 points, almost 28 points a game. And he was tired the other night, and I don't blame him, because he was working hard. The two guys, real quick, LaMarcus is scoring like a machine, And DeMar now, people get on DeMar because he's not scoring as much.
Right.
But what is he doing? He's tossing the ball around everybody else. He's creating offense because everybody collapses on him. If you watch him get in the lane or start to drive, what's he's got? He's got 2 or 3 guys around him. And what's he do? He finds the open guy for a 3 and boom.
And
he's getting assists.
Yeah.
So
he drives in, he collapses the defense, kicks it out. We see Bellinelli making these wild 3-pointers. Yeah, off balance. Don't hurt yourself.
If he's straight on and shoots it normal, it doesn't go in.
It usually misses. Yeah,
it's weird. Really weird.
Bertans, of course, and even Patty was hitting threes the other day. That was a really big win for the Spurs. I think for their confidence. But again, it's one of those things like DeMar was saying. You got to take this on the road, and if they don't take care of business tonight, then that would not be good because the Clippers are not slowing down. The Clippers are, to me, one of the weirdest teams so far in this league because they traded away their leading scorer, Tobias Harris, during the trade deadline. And then they've now been winning a bunch of games. I don't know how they're doing this.
But look who else they lost over the last couple of years.
Yeah. Blake, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan. I mean, it's been
that playoff team that they had a couple of years ago isn't anywhere to be found now.
Yeah.
So
the Jazz have fallen off a little bit, so San Antonio can definitely make some moves here.
What's really weird is San Antonio's going to actually. I mean, you look at OKC, and the word is that Paul George has a shoulder problem.
Yeah.
We
don't know what that is. There's rumors out there, but apparently George is a little bit banged up.
With 15 games left in the regular season, actually get to the top 4? Could they actually get to that 4 spot?
They can. I mean, looking at the rest of their schedule, I think they have 15 games left. 9 teams are under 500. 6 teams with playoff records. So if you split the 6 games and then you just take care of business against the teams you should beat. Then you should be 12-3, and that'll even get you to 50 wins. That'd be incredible.
Golden State is vulnerable, though. Those guys aren't exactly playing great basketball right now. They lost to Phoenix the other night. Phoenix. The Spurs lost to Phoenix. You can maybe see that, but Golden State losing to Phoenix? Come on. So, all right, so the Spurs are set up for the Mavs and then a big weekend.
Quick couple of Spurs questions, David. People on our Facebook Live, again, thank you very much for being with us. People are asking about the bats at the AT&T Center. What is going on with the bats? Someone even said, is Pop releasing these bats? Doubt that. And then the other funny question, which actually I think is really kind of an interesting one, is the Spurs Coyote, is he just like ready to go with the bat suit? I mean, is that something that, as we said, the stylist has ready for him? Because he's been running out there pretty fast.
Have you never watched Batman?
Yeah, there you go.
This is Bat Yodi. I mean, how quick did Batman get to the scene of a crime?
Yeah.
How quick was he there on the spot?
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah.
Batman was quick.
Yeah, that's true.
Bat Yodi is. Once that bat reveals itself in the arena.
Yeah, and he almost caught him again on Sunday, but the bat just flew up to the.
And the bat got scared because we never saw the bat again.
Yeah, that's true.
The bat's like, I'm not messing with Bat Yodi. I'm done. So that might have been lunch right there for the bat.
That's true.
Or Bat Yodi would have been.
There you go. Yeah.
Lunch,
but interesting questions about the bat. People are wanting to know.
Well, you go to like Grayson Street down here, whatever that street where Steve Brown used to watch, hundreds of thousands of bats fly out of there. Apparently, there's just like a little bat cave up there in the AT&T Center.
Yeah.
And some dudes just hanging out.
Yeah. There you go. Nice joke there. Okay, so people are asking why I keep looking down on here. It's because I'm looking at your Facebook comments and the questions. I got my laptop right here. I know you can't see it. It's off to the side here. You know what? I'll just show it. Yeah, there we go. So here's the laptop. I'm looking at your all's questions, comments. Keep them coming. Again, we thank you very much for being with us on our Facebook Live. So you want to move on from the Spurs here?
We're going to move on to the Spurs. Okay. We know the Spurs situation.
Yeah. Speaking of situations, this thing with Russell Westbrook last night. Wow. If you did not see this, Russell Westbrook was involved in a heated confrontation, I guess, exchange with a fan. Basically, threatened this fan, used some pretty vulgar language in the process. Later on, Westbrook said that this fan kind of stepped over the line. Told him some pretty vulgar stuff back too. So a lot of back and forth right now. The Jazz are investigating this incident. David, what are your thoughts on this whole thing? I mean, fans getting involved with the players and Westbrook as well.
I think there's a line that the fans can't cross, and there's a line that players can't cross, and I think they both got crossed. I think the fan crossed the line. If what the fan said was true, I mean, it was. I'm not going to repeat it here. Right. It was bad. You can read about it.
Right.
I'm not going to repeat
KSAT.com.
it. You can go to KSAT.com. You just wrote the story. But if that is true, if that's what the fan said, and there was a player that was sitting on the bench near Russell Westbrook who said this is what the fan said.
Right.
They also claim that it's actually his girlfriend. Russell thought it was his wife, but they also say the girlfriend repeated that. So if that's true, then that's crossing the line.
Yeah.
But then Russell Westbrook crossed the line by threatening the fan. I'm going to blank you up, and threatening the fan's girlfriend. I'm going to do the same to her. Russell's just crossed the line, and I think that may. I agree with you. We talked about that earlier. I think that may cost Russell a couple of bucks and maybe
definitely think he should be. I think he should be fined. I don't think there's any reason that Russell Westbrook, he's hot-tempered. We all know that, and there's no reason for Russ to do that. I kind of think of. Remember last season when Patty Mills was involved in an incident in Cleveland? There was a fan who kind of yelled a racial taunt at Patty. Patty, of course, took the high road in that case. Didn't say anything.
You would expect that.
Just exactly. Yeah, you're not going to expect anything less. Took the high road. The next day, actually, Patty had an event at the San Antonio Museum of Art and basically, again, just took the high road, but basically said, yes, it is part of the game. They do have to deal with that at times. In that case, Cleveland actually banned the fan for a year from all events at Quicken Loans Arena. So I think the Jazz are doing their due diligence, and we'll see what happens.
The Jazz gave those fans, I guess they call
warning cards,
which means you're warned. Ever do that again, and you'll never be invited back. We'll kick you out, and you can't go back to the arena. So they got the warning card. So let's see what that means as they investigate. And the Patty thing, real quick, that's the Spurs culture right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if Patty would have said something bad and really got. They might have cut him,
right?
But that's just the way. And that's why, as Spur fans, even when they're not playing the best basketball, that's why you're very proud of this team. And I don't want to get sentimental or anything, but that's why you love this team, is because of the way they act in public and the way they do those things. DeMar DeRozan visiting with a young man with leukemia the other night at the game, handing him his shoes, signing his shoes, taking a moment right after he warmed up, just taking a moment out. I mean, he made that young man's day, if not the week, because that kid was going for some more treatment. So I mean, but that's the way the Spurs are. So I didn't mean to get off on that tangent, but this is a good tangent to get off.
Well, no, I think it because.
But when you talk about a guy like Russell Westbrook is one of my least favorite NBA players,
and he is
because of that kind of stuff.
I mean, you've been in the locker room with him in the media, and he's not fun to be around at all. I mean,
not really.
He's definitely not a fun guy. I mean, for us off the court, you hear some okay things about Westbrook. Say he's a good guy and all whatnot.
On the court,
but on the court and in the locker room, not the greatest guy. But at the same time, fans, I think, like you said, don't cross that line. Don't.
Regardless of what you think about Russell, if that fan what that fan said is true, then the fan crossed the line and Russell probably had a right to respond, at least in the post game, say, hey, I don't need that, that's not right, something like that. As far as threatening a fan, no. But as far as being able to respond, sure, he can respond and he can tell us what he feels about that kind of stuff. Because those guys get that. Remember years and years ago, you probably do. The guy in Washington used to stand up and just the whole game yell at players. I don't think he ever got personal though.
Right.
But it was just.
Was it like a Bullets super fan or something? I kind of remember
it was when they were the Bullets.
Washington
but
Bullets
the guy was he would just like stand up behind the visitors bench and just all game long. And some of the stuff was. I mean, you could catch some of the players laughing at him.
Right.
He'd say some stuff funny. But I don't think he ever crossed that. He was just heckling the players. He wasn't talking about their family or their kids or their wife or anything. He was just heckling them and having a good time. And some of the players actually thought he was funny. But now we're getting to the point where
and I do think there's ways to there are ways to go about it. And again, 99.9% of fans are good fans. I mean, fans boo, they cheer, they get on the refs. We sit right in front of the baseline bums at the game. They get on the refs, they get on players for, missing a free throw and air ball. But again, when it gets personal, then that's really what you don't want to see between fans and the players.
And if you're a player in the NBA, you know what's coming.
Right.
You expect that when you go to a visiting arena, you expect fans to start heckling you and start getting on you, but you do not expect them to start, throwing derogatory comments out there and using racial epithets and all that kind of, that's beyond the pale. Yeah. And I don't think it's not, really? That's all you can come up with?
Yeah.
Use some creativity.
Exactly. Yes. All right. So
come up with some good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people commenting on Facebook Live here. Armando, he says, I hope he comes to SA. I don't know if he's responding to the Russell Westbrook conversation or the Johnny Manziel question.
We haven't gotten to Johnny Manziel.
We haven't gotten to Johnny.
We're
going to get there in a bit. But Armando, if you want to just clear it up for us, are you talking about Russell Westbrook coming to San Antonio or Johnny Manziel? Because that was, again, part of the post that we have here on Facebook Live. So some people saying, that they believe Russ, though. Yeah. I mean, that's, a lot of different conversations here going on our Facebook Live. Again, Brody Sorrell says, you're right, it's about being professional, which we hope all these guys are. And you mentioned, David, some great examples about the Spurs. Their, professionalism, always on the court and off the court, they carry themselves in the right way. You're right. I don't see any Spur ever getting into anything like that. I mean, Rodman may have been the last guy to do something like that.
If Russell doesn't do the threat part, if he doesn't threaten the fan, if he just kind of keeps his mouth shut and then expresses his displeasure with that fan after the game, then we're not doing anything but praising Russell Westbrook and how he handled that situation. Yeah. Even the people that aren't big fans of Russell Westbrook, or even have to give him credit.
Even like you said, the post game, say, hey, this is what happened.
This is what happened,
and all this. I mean, just talk about it after the fact.
The threats got him in trouble. By the way, real quick, while we're on that side, how about that fight between
that was nuts and
Serge Ibaka and Marquise Chris? What was it? What?
Yeah. So here's the deal, though.
But I compared Serge Ibaka's punch to Leslie Mouton punch because if you know Leslie Mouton here at Channel 12,
kickboxing, right?
She does boxing, and she's trained by Jesse James Leha. Yeah. I think she could take out Serge. I think because that punch is not. That was a pretty good NBA fight, but come on.
Yeah, Serge. he Leslie missed significantly. The haymaker did not connect in that case. Interesting to see that fight because for Spurs fans maybe not know, but LaMarcus Aldridge has a history with Serge Ibaka. They've actually gotten into some stuff in the past, and Ibaka has been kind of known as a guy to get in a few scuffles here and there. So that definitely probably warrants some suspensions and fines for both those guys there.
I'm surprised you hadn't heard those yet.
Yeah, definitely.
And by the way, you talk about a history of Serge Ibaka. Tim Duncan has a history with Serge Ibaka. He abused him in Game 6.
Man, that's right. Those Western Conference, 2014 Western Conference Finals.
Remember the other time? Yeah. Just flat out abused Serge Ibaka. So that's that.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the way to do it. The way Timmy did it in that overtime.
Oh, by the way, real quick. Sorry, I hate to interrupt you.
Yeah,
real quick.
Go ahead.
What did the Derek White jam in the face of Lent the other night in that game? What did that remind you of?
Could it be the Corey Joseph?
Speaking of Serge
Ibaka,
Remember, Serge Ibaka was the greatest defender ever to play in the NBA, and Corey Joseph was right in the lanes of the year. Take this greatness.
Right.
Anyway.
And because the Spurs had they had won the 2 games. Ibaka wasn't playing in the 2 games here. Oklahoma City won the 2 there, and there was a lot of talk about Serge being the big difference there. Corey Joseph took care of some business there against Ibaka.
He had a fire under his own team too.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
So
we digress.
All right, so we have a few. Okay, so Armando has cleared it up for us. He says, he says if Johnny Manziel comes to play for San Antonio's AF team, it will drive ticket sales. So this is kind of the debate when it comes to Johnny. So we know that Johnny brings a lot of baggage, to say the least.
Suitcases full.
Yes, but he will also. I do agree with Armando here. He will definitely generate a ton of fan interest. Not saying the Commanders are hurting in that side of the things right now.
They
are.
2 home games.
So is it worth the trouble to bring him? You don't think so?
No.
You don't think so?
Okay, well, here's my question. Okay. Would people not buy tickets if Johnny Manziel got signed because of all the...
I think people would.
So nobody would say no?
I don't know. Let the people answer that one.
Yes?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that chime in with us on Commanders games here. Let us know if Johnny gets signed.
Is he worth a spot on your roster, kicking some kid off that's trying to make it in the NFL? Is he worth a spot on your roster Is he worth the ticket sales when what you're trying to do is establish yourself as the minor leagues of the NFL?
Right.
You're trying to get these kids. He's not going back to the NFL.
Yeah. No, definitely not. No.
He can't even play in the Canadian League.
Yeah, at this point, no. Well, that's the question.
So then that's just a gimmick.
It's the business side of things versus the on-field side of things. Because I don't know if Daryl Johnston wants to go down this road. I don't know if Mike Riley wants to go down this road with Johnny. And again, the thing about when you sign Johnny too, is he even going to play? Because they're already halfway through the season.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, so it's one of those things where he's going to be a backup no matter what. Do the Commanders trade his rights and maybe give him to another team to kind of build up their attendance?
One of those
and let
really
Johnny
bad teams
kind
like
of
Atlanta.
Or something like that, where they're getting like 8,000.
Well, I don't know the.
Would people be upset if we traded Johnny?
I don't know if I haven't really looked at the. I mean, there's a certain number on the roster. Would they have to let somebody go?
I think they would. I think they are capped. Right.
So then, I mean, really, I don't know.
So you don't think it's worth him coming in and just eating up a roster spot?
If all you say is, you know what, our attendance we could go from an average of 29,000 to an average of 35,000, make more money and have a much better crowd because we sign him and we just sit him on the bench because he's never going to play. Then sign him. Okay, fine. Then you didn't sign him for the reason why this whole league exists. You signed him just to sell tickets.
Unless the Commanders...
He can't go to the XFL because the WWE is more in line with...
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that if you don't sign him, you don't bring him in, then you do run the risk of him going to the XFL and possibly moving, the numbers there.
Let's see.
The business numbers there, the needle, the ratings, whatnot.
Wrestling versus football.
Well, again, but I think Johnny is this sort of this lightning rod of conversation. Like you said, is he ever going to be back in the NFL? Chances are probably less than zero that's going to happen. But he's just such a topic of conversation, a lightning rod, that the AAF, I think, is really considering, what he can do for their bottom line. Now, I could see this. This might be, in my opinion, maybe something they think about doing. They think about bringing him in. Maybe he just sits the rest of the season and he's just with the offseason program for the full year, and then maybe next season you get to see him more on the field. But a lot of people here on Facebook Live are saying that they want Johnny here. Some people saying it's a great gimmick, but Brody, says for the short time he would be good for SA. Melissa Alvarado says last chance in quotation marks. I don't know if she's being sarcastic.
What's he going to do, go hang out in Kerrville?
Yeah, I don't know about that. So
yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Interesting.
It's a good debate. I don't know.
We should maybe find out this week, because actually last week Bill Polian said that it was 50% done as far as Johnny coming to the AAF, and it sounds like Moose Johnston seems like he's kind of on board again. But will he be with the Commanders? Is kind of the question I have. And do the Commanders really need?
What's he like in the locker room? I mean, have we ever really figured out what happened in Canada?
No, that's been weird. Yeah, that's been weird. I think,
and that's what I said a while ago. I mean, he can't make it in Canada,
right? I think from what I read, and of course none of this is confirmed, but what I read is that he had some stipulations going into the Canadian Football League, had to do a certain amount of maybe testing on the side, and I think it was a pretty rigorous testing schedule that he had to be on. Maybe he
were they written or physical tests?
I think. Wow, that's a good one. Okay, yeah. Different kind of.
Because remember when he was A&M, he was doing he was getting his degree on.
Yeah, I don't even know what he got his.
So I don't.
But anyways.
So you're for bringing Johnny Manziel? Huh? You're for bringing Johnny Manziel?
I am.
Come on,
I'm definitely for.
Commit.
I'm for bringing him in.
Okay.
I think that if the Commanders, if you want to continue to do well and kind of be this the preeminent franchise in the AF, why not bring him in?
Okay, so my question is, if you want him, do you already have a ticket to any of the games, or would you buy a ticket? Not. We would love to have him in San Antonio. I don't want to hear. Oh, it would be great to have him. I want to know, would you buy a ticket if Johnny Manziel got signed?
Interesting. Okay, so
right there.
Yeah,
if you don't already have one. So go ahead. Facebook.
Johnny won't be good. Oh, Johnny will be good. Okay. Jesse. All right.
So while you answer that question, would you buy a ticket if you have not bought one? If Johnny Manziel is on the team, knowing he's probably not going to play, he's just going to be on the sideline, you would buy a ticket?
I would. Yeah.
How much are tickets? I don't even know.
I don't think they're that much. Yeah, $15-$20 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they're much.
So all right. So while you're answering that question, should we get any response here in a second?
No, Johnny. Okay.
Jason Witten.
Armando, I am camping out for a ticket like it's Black Friday. Okay, Armando. Cool, man. Thanks for letting us know.
Just one?
Yeah.
Come on, you got to buy the whole section, Armando. What's wrong with you?
The Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel.
The season ticket package is now in effect.
What is
that? He could sign autographs.
No, there was one on there about Kerrville.
People from Kerrville.
Don't even know.
Yeah, all right. As we continue to get more responses here. Cowboys. All right. Cowboys offseason so far. Cowboys' biggest moves restructuring Sean Lee's contract. We figured that. Jason Witten. We hadn't really discussed Jason Witten going back to the Cowboys. Interesting move for both sides of this. I thought Jason, he struggled a little bit in the booth early on, kind of got a little bit better as the season, progressed. And then all of a sudden, he's like, I'm going back. What were your thoughts when this first happened?
I didn't think he was that. If you watch a lot of NFL, you hear a lot of bad color guys on there. I didn't think he was all that bad about halfway through the season.
I think he got better as
he got
the
pretty
season
good.
went along.
To compare him to what's his face?
Oh, Romo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To compare him to Romo is not fair.
It's not, because Romo was
a quarterback.
and that is true. So Romo kind of sees it kind of in a different. But Romo also is one of these like home run swings that CBS just took, and it has worked out great for them.
Did he contact the Cowboys, or did the Cowboys contact him? Because it was an obvious gap, an obvious hole without him, because there was nowhere for Dak Prescott to go.
Blake Jarwin,
half the time.
Yeah, Blake Jarwin was their starting tight end for most of the season. So apparently, Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett had been in contact with Jason last season, wanting him to come back for the stretch run when it was pretty apparent that the Cowboys were in good shape to make the playoffs. So I think these had been kind of ongoing for a little bit, and maybe Jason just thinks to himself, you know what, I maybe still have some left in the tank.
We'll find out some of these OTAs. Yeah. Will he have to participate? How much will he have to participate? And how much is he willing to participate? How much does he have left in the tank? Mm-hmm. And can he go through a whole season?
Yeah,
I think he can pretty much go through a whole season, because when you look at it, if they needed somebody to block, he could block too, but you stick another guy in there.
Right.
But then, of course, you kind of give things away. Well, if Witten's not in there, it's not going to be a pass play. It's going to be a run. Although, you can change that up a little bit. Kellen Moore's your offensive coordinator, so there's no telling how that's going to go. So
that's interesting too. Yeah.
That's a whole another day. That's a whole other Facebook Live. The guy kept himself in great shape.
Yeah, he obviously feels.
They didn't wear him
like
out the last year, and he's never really. He's been hurt once or twice, but he's never really had anything where it's set him up for
nothing
a
like that. No. I think
not
his
like Sean Lee.
No.
It
hurts every. Yeah. I think as far as longevity purposes, I think Witten. I don't remember a season. You're right. Maybe going back to early in his career, but it was an interesting move. You don't see that very often, where a guy will just kind of move on to this next part of his career and then just all of a sudden decide, hey, I'm coming back. So I think it was a little bit, well, that's true. I think it was a little bit of both on both sides. And I do think the Cowboys, I'm assuming that they're happy he's back. Like you said, Dak did not have many guys.
And they're only paying him, $3.5 million, somewhere in there, $4 million, $3.5 million. But the other thing is I think they looked at that offense and said, we have nobody we can absolutely rely on.
Yeah.
Elliott was pretty good.
Yeah.
You could rely on him to catch, but he couldn't play every play all game long. But
Amari
they had
Cooper.
no offensive threat they could rely on to get him out of a mess.
Yeah.
And Jason Witten could get him out of a mess a lot of times.
Yeah.
Of course, he had to get the first down.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of times he came up short. But they didn't
6-yard,
have
7-yard reception.
They needed another option. And I guess they looked around the league and went, there's just really not that much out there. There's nobody in college that can come out. None of our guys can step up like Jason Witten. We need somebody to come in here and fill a gap. And I personally think it's all about Dak Prescott and confidence.
There you go. That's a good point. A lot of people agreeing with you here, saying, you know, Dak took too many hits this past season. Like you said, maybe he held it just a half second too long because he didn't have that security blanket. Cole Beasley, we'll see what's going to happen with Cole Beasley this offseason. He's, you know, talking.
Twitter may get him in trouble.
Twitter is stay off of Twitter, Cole, because Cole was kind of a security blanket, but not in the same frame as a Jason Witten. And again, Armando chimes in saying that with Travis Frederick out, Witten provides run support. He said that you're on point, David. So Armando, good with you.
Armando's buying me Armando, you buy you a ticket, then you buy me a ticket when Johnny Manziel comes in, and we'll go sit down and heckle Johnny Manziel.
People saying they love hearing Romo broadcasting. Yeah, I don't think Romo will ever. Romo's
good.
Definitely not. All right, so a lot of comments here. A lot of people kind of still divided on the Johnny Manziel question. LP Lopez.
Now we got some division on Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, LP Lopez says yes. Just bought a ticket to the April 6th game.
There you go.
Roy Quesada says I would not buy a Johnny Manziel a ticket for Johnny Manziel.
There you go. Okay, see.
This is what Johnny brings up though. It's either you're on this side or you're on that side.
And things were going so smooth though.
Yeah.
Commanders were just kind of cruising along. They're like the top attendance home, and we hadn't had them for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So we still got one more week away, and then they'll come home. But.
Yeah. 3-2, 2 straight road games, road wins. So Commanders looking good. You're right. Maybe they're just kind of like, man, we don't need this drama about now. So
if they were losing, if they were 0-5, we'd be looking for all kinds of drama, whatever we can get. I'd start him. If they were 0-5. But they're 3-2, and they're right in the playoff hunt, and they're where you want to be, and the fans are loving it, and so do you really want to upset the apple cart?
There you go. Okay. So we appreciate you guys being with us on our Facebook Live. Again, Spurs taking on the Mavs tonight. Someone asked earlier, tip-off time is 7, right?
7 o'clock.
Okay, so 7. Again, no Rudy Gay tonight, again, for the Spurs. We don't think Luka Doncic is going to play for the Mavs. The Mavs are kind of in a little bit of a tank mode now. So San Antonio should take care of business, hopefully, tonight as they continue to battle for playoff positioning. All right, David, any final comments?
Go Spurs, go.
Yes, we'll leave it at that. All right, thanks, guys, for being with us on our Facebook Live. Have a good day.